Father fish got buried in his substrate, setting up a new tank Christmas Eve. You can say there's no way he's down in there, but as for me and Mary, we believe. He'd been carrying too much sand now, and he tipped in with the bag. He wanted to make a deep bed, now he's fertilizing plants instead. When they found him in the morning, in that tank way in the back, he was beneficial down there. The plant roots were never ever looking back. Father fish got buried in his substrate, setting up a new tank Christmas Eve. You can say there's no way he's down in there, but as for me and Mary, we believe. Now we're all so proud of Mary. She's been taking this so well. See her sleeping in with Calvin, changing water and giving guppies crushed eggshell. All our tanks suck without Father. An inch of gravel now we hate. And we just can't help but wonder, should we haul those bags of sand and test our fate? Test our fate! Father fish got buried in his substrate, setting up a new tank Christmas Eve. You can say there's no way he's down in there, but as for me and Mary, we believe.
Well, hello,
Good
Jeffrey.
morning. Oops, surprise. Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Nice to see everyone. I see Rose here. Welcome back, Rose. Nice to see you.
People here. Yeah, Ro had a question.
Yes.
Right? Well, her question was, well, I'm not going to try to scroll back, but I think her basic question was, she had a betta that got tangled up in hair algae, and its eye got tangled up in it, and of course now it's white, and she's wondering if it's going to be okay. Would you?
Well, I don't know. How could its eye get tangled in?
I don't know.
Algae? That seems odd to me.
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that's what she said. I could try to scroll back.
Yeah. Well, if sometimes a fish will lose its vision in one eye, its eye will turn white, or
she said it got twisted around the eyeball.
I can't even imagine.
I don't
know. The critical thing is to make sure it doesn't fungus, it doesn't get bacteria in it.
Right.
So you want to try to treat it a little bit if you need to. If this is something that just happened, I would try to treat it. It's difficult to treat a tiny fish like that.
Yeah.
One of the things you can do that actually works, I'm just looking in my drawer here, is to put, here we go, some antibacterial ointment. Just dab it with your finger and just dab it on the eye. It's not going to last long, but eventually it'll wash off. But it'll be on there long enough to kill any bacteria, and we'll keep a film on long enough for if there's a wound for it to heal. It'll also promote healing, so that'll help. You can put a little bit of salt in the water. Salt is not always a good thing. Stephen is fond of telling us that. But it does slow things down, and sometimes that alone is beneficial.
Well, she said she was going into lurk mode, but hopefully she heard that.
Oh, okay.
That tip.
Yes.
So anyway,
Guppy grass.
That's a good tip. So because anybody can keep that locked up there for for future problems in someone else's tank.
Yeah, exactly. It's easy to use. It's not anything that's at all obtrusive or dangerous in the tank. That doesn't do a lot, but it does just enough.
Yeah.
And all you need to do is put a little bit on your finger and just dab it on the wound directly. Anything you can do topically is gonna be beneficial. It'll be more beneficial than trying to treat the whole water
The
column.
whole water column, yeah.
Yeah.
And
So think in those terms. Yeah.
Most people have that in their home. They don't have to go out and buy it.
That's exactly right. Yeah, it's commonly available.
Yeah.
And it works well enough. It's not perfect, but it works. It works well enough. There was a product that was out for a while. And I can't remember what it was called. It was in a little tiny plastic bottle about that big. I think at one point they were shaped like it was shaped like some fruit or something. But it was a gel, and it worked the same way. You just treated the fish topically with it. It never caught hold. It was a wonderful product.
Oh, wasn't that? I think they were advertising that for like a beta treatment. Was that what it was? Like a little.
Could be,
beta?
Yeah, it could be.
I kind of vaguely remember the fruit shape.
Yeah, I used it for years while it was available. It's off the market now. Nobody's.
Okay.
And the product, they never were able to really impact the market with it, which is unfortunate. There are always things like that, things that somebody develops as a result of, a lot of experience and a lot of research, and they put this product out. I'll give you a good example. There was a company in Kentucky that put over $1 million in designing and developing a protein skimmer, a very high end, not particularly expensive. I mean, I think they had 3 grades ultimately, $100 to $300, $300 for the biggest one, and the biggest one was frankly a monster. But they put all kinds of money into developing these amazing protein skimmers, and no money into marketing. They thought they could just hit the market with them, and they would immediately flash and take hold, and everybody would love them because they were so amazing and so wonderful. And they were amazing and they were wonderful. Within 6 months, they were out of business. They had put their money into 2 things, into research and production. They had spent all of their money on research and production. They wound up with a warehouse full of these protein skimmers and no way to market them. They finally liquidated. They were forced to liquidate. They went under. They went broke, and the whole lot was bought up by somebody who put them online for $50 a piece or something.
Oh, wow.
I bought about 100 of them at the time. I think I'm down to 1 or 2. That was maybe 10 years ago. It was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a good example of really high quality products. There's so many. I can think of 3 or 4. There was one that my friend Merle Cohen developed, designed, produced, and was never able to market. Now, he understood marketing, but he could not get it off the ground. And it was a water exchange system that put a very tiny jet of water in the tank and had a double hose. So water went in one, and it automatically took the same volume of water out the other hose. How it worked, I don't know. I think it was simply based on a principle of water flow. But it was amazing. He kept goldfish in a big 200-gallon tank, and he used this, and it had a continuous jet of water going into the tank, and then had the second hose running to his sink. So it was getting continuous water exchange. Brilliant, enormously effective. The product never got off the ground. There was no effective way to market it. And it's not available. Nobody's doing it. So there are a lot of things like that. I try to do as much DIY. It's part of the reason that I've been excited about Joey, because he tries to do as much DIY as he possibly can, and that really is the key. It's the key to development. It's the key to really making your hobby personal, and and discovering new things about it. So by all means, if you're faced with a problem, figure out a way to solve it with the materials you have at hand. Don't go out and try to buy something, because probably it's not going to meet your needs. It's not going to solve the problem, and that happens very often. A hobbyist will have a given specific problem. Can't think of a good example right now, but whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like feeding. Feeding's a perfect example. Specific problem, feeding. So they want to make sure their fish get fed because they keep forgetting, or they're away, or this or that. They ask the kids to do it and they feed too much. Have a neighbor come in and everything goes to just crashes. Too many problems. So they go out and they buy a machine that automatically feeds the fish. They go away, come back for a week, everything's dead. The machine has malfunctioned and dumped the entire load of food into the tank. Comparable to what we just experienced in our brand new video out just this morning called Catastrophe at Father Fish. Apparently someone dumped an entire can of food into our 20-year-old tank. It's a 30-gallon long, 4-foot long tank. Been set up for years. I saw it after that event. It's kind of an out-of-the-way tank, so people don't normally walk by and look at it. It's sitting in the window, and it's off to the side. A visitor wouldn't necessarily notice anything. I finally saw it yesterday or the day before. Wednesday, I guess I saw it, and realized I had to deal with it. It was astoundingly foul. It was not rotten, which is interesting. The tank had not fouled, but there was a thick coat of bacterial slime on all the plants, all the glass, all the substrate. It was literally coated.
I haven't had a chance to watch the video yet, but I'm thinking, did you get a lot of detritus worms? Because they usually love that.
Well, I think it had not been going on long enough. I'm not sure. Okay. I could have left at it. Well, no, I couldn't have left. So I went in.
Yeah.
We did a video. Yeah, once I knew it was there. Yeah. We did a video yesterday showing how to deal with this without going crazy. Now, typically, what most people would do when they see that is they would dump the tank. They would just give up on it. They would siphon it all out, get rid of everything, start completely all over again. Well, I got a 20-year substrate in there. I didn't want to do that. No. And I've got a bit of ego tied up in how long the tank's been around. So I stirred it up and noticed that all of the slime was on the surface. It was not down in the substrate. It was on the surface. So we stirred it up, siphoned it off, did 2 siphons, filled it once, siphoned it off, and then refilled it, and then put the video out. It's had almost 500 hits in the first 2 hours, so it's getting a lot of looks.
Well, I mean, it's good to see because, like you said, somebody else is going to have that experience at some point, and they've got a video to refer to, so it's awesome.
Right, exactly. And I really wanted to show how I deal with these kinds of things because it was kind of it was substantial. The macaw is sounding off back here. Betsy's here and he wants her to pay attention to
Oh, well,
it.
there you go. Yeah. But I think, the overall is, like you said, you didn't want to give up on it. Don't panic. You can work your way through it, and you're
Right.
showing how to do that.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right.
So,
And I think it's a good lesson.
Absolutely, because
you know,
everybody has kids. We all, what it's like. That can happen in anybody's house at any time. Something gets dumped in the tank.
Yeah,
But
right.
like you said, how to deal with it.
How to get it right.
Yeah. So you have a question from Joe Merchant, who's new at 9:08.
Go ahead and read it.
Okay. A parasite started wiping out my angels and Bosemani rainbows. By the time I noticed the sick fish and quarantine, they don't last 24 hours. I resorted to medicating the entire tank. Is that all right? So I think he started noticing the parasite problem, would pull the sick fish out, put them in quarantine. They wouldn't live 24 hours, so now he's decided to treat the whole tank. Asking if that's the right way to go.
What kind of parasite? That matters.
He doesn't say what kind of parasite. He just
we need more information.
Okay, wiping out the angels and Bosemani. So yeah, if you can let us know in the chat if you know what kind of parasite it is. He may not know. For instance, a gill fluke or something.
You know what I think it is. You know what I think it is. Everybody knows what I think it is. You know what I think it is. You know what I think it is. You're right.
It's like, oh, it's an echo of Father Fish.
I get some confirmation here.
All right. Saved one. Metroplex. Stool is clear.
Metroplex. Stool is clear.
Stool is clear.
This is Joe Merchant. Joe Merchant. Is that who?
Yeah, Joe Merchant. He says saved one with Metroplex. Stool is clear when visible. And he doesn't know save me. So I guess we don't know if they're internal parasites or if they're like a fluke. Or if it's actually parasites, correct?
Well,
it's a little tough.
Not knowing what it is, it's impossible to know.
Right.
You saved 8 fish with treatment, so that's probably a good sign.
Right.
You say it's a parasite. Now, there are all kinds of parasites. Ick, for example, is a parasite, and ick affects fish in exactly the way you would describe this. The fix for ick is very simple. You put a heater in a tank if you don't have one, and you raise the temperature to minimum 86 degrees for minimum 2 days, and the ick disappears. Stephen, the biologist, says it doesn't die. It simply goes dormant. Well, whatever. By raising the temperature to 86 degrees, you get rid of the ick and the infestation. If it's something else like a fluke, I don't know what other parasites. You could have internal parasites, flukes, some kind of worm attached to the fish. I don't know. My strong suspicion is you have ick. If it's tiny white spots, it's ick. If that's what you have, raise the temperature to 86 degrees, minimum 86 for 2 days, and it will disappear. That's really all you need to do. But let's try to get a little more information.
Right. Give us a little something more if you can. And I guess the other question would be, are they still able to eat?
Yeah, right.
That would, in my mind, that would lead to flukes if they can't eat.
Right. Ram Kumar, hi Father Fish. How can I germinate watergrass seed in 1-inch mud and 2-inch sand substrate? You cannot. You can't do it. Not unless the tank has been set up for a long time, for at least a year. the sand will not have adequate nutrition in it for very short roots. So it's not, it may germinate, but it's not going to survive. That's one of the major drawbacks to the deep sand cap on a dirted tank, is that until it's been set up for a year or more, that sand does not have enough nutrition in it to be able to take care of the needs of very short rooted plants that are growing right on the surface. If you want to do that, you do it by growing them immersed. You put the mud in the tank. Before you put water in it, put the mud in the tank, sprinkle seed on the mud, put saran wrap on the top, put a light on it, and let it go for a month. That seed will germinate and it'll flourish. You then have the tricky job of adding water to that without stirring it up. You might find that some of the commercial products will work a little better. I have not had success. I've had success growing the plants, but putting the water in makes it, I just haven't been able to succeed with that. Not with brand new tanks, because it causes all of the soil to be immediately dissolved into the water, or the nutrition dissolved into the water, and you wind up with generally a murky mess. I don't have a good solution for that.
Okay.
Now, if the tank's old, I do have old tanks with pretty good cover, but they've been set up for a year or more. And they've been able to develop nutrition in that sand sufficient to be able to support these tiny roots from Cuba and hairgrass and such stuff. Baby tears, all of those shallow root plants. Go ahead, Joey. I'm sorry.
Well, I would just like to point out that we have a lot of new people in here today, and I would like to welcome everyone.
Yes, absolutely.
To the show. And then you have a question from Stephen Law, who is new. Can you put goldfish with tropical fish?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, you don't want to put them with tropical fish that are going to go after them and tear up their fins.
Right. So
you want to be careful about that. It matters what you put them with, but so long as they're not aggressive fish that are notorious fin nippers, like barbs, for example, you can put them with rainbows. That works extremely well and heightens the color pattern of what's going on in the tank. You can put them with most live bearers, mollies, guppies, those kinds of things. They do real well that way. You can put them with tetras, although they won't get big enough to eat the tetras.
Right.
So you need to be concerned about that. Goldfish are not these gentle little, wimpy creatures. Once they get some size on them, they're honkers, and they will take control of their environment.
And they don't do it in a vicious way. They just eat something that's swimming by.
Right. Yeah, they're not predators. They're
not predators. It's just,
they're just hungry.
Yeah. Yeah. Holly Gibbs has a cute little statement sort of question at 9:20. She says, Father Fish, I got 2 babies. Mom is an albino bristlenose and Dad is a chocolate bristlenose. What does that make them besides so cute? White chocolate bristlenose? I think that's really cute, Holly.
Funny.
That's what I would call it. That sounds
chocolate white. I don't know. Come up with a name.
Well, I think the white chocolate's pretty cute. White chocolate.
That's not bad. White chocolate. That's good. I like that. Yeah.
I think that's really cute.
Yeah, it's better than one, everybody.
Yeah. So,
Yes, perfect. I love it.
and
Let's see. Joe's
Daniel,
back. He said, I raised the temperature a few weeks ago. No visible spots. They eat until they go in the corner and act shy. Then they only have 24 hours. Some are showing solid stool again, but I'm paranoid. Yeah, it sounds like an internal parasite, probably a bacteria, internal bacteria. You can feed garlic. Um,
well,
you
yeah,
what you want to try to do is get medication into their gut. So while they're still feeding, I would feed the entire tank. Get some medicated food or make some. If you've got a medication like um, some of the sulfa drugs are good, the thio, whatever it is. Um, you can mix that in with the food. Do it wet so it gets in with the food, and then kind of um, feed in small amounts so that they'll eat it right away. That'll get medication into their gut. If these are all tiny fish, so you're not going to be able to do much in the way of force feeding or feeding predators or something. I mean, feeding little guppies to them. They're not going to eat that. You need to get whatever food you've got, soak it in the medication. I use sulfa drugs, sulfathiazone, I like real well. It's a good broad spectrum antibacterial. Any of a number of them will work. If one doesn't, try another. They are available through your pet shop. They're available online. I have them available here at the shop. I'm happy to send some out in small portions as needed. Um, Generally, I don't recommend such things, but it sounds like what you're dealing with is, in fact, an internal parasite. And if you don't get it to the fish before they stop eating, all is lost.
right.
Um, you need to get it in the fish's gut in order to deal with it. It's not going to help putting medication in the tank. That's not going to do a bit of good. You need to get it in the food and get it to them in a way that they will eat that medicated food.
Could I add something to that?
Please, by all means.
You need to make sure they're really eating. If they have gill flukes, they will swim around the tank and take the food in and swim around and spit it out. It appears as though they're eating. So you need to make sure they're actually eating and keeping that food in. Because if they can't get the food in, it doesn't matter what you give them for medicated food if they're not getting it inside. But if it's a gill fluke, and I know because I've had them, they will appear as though they're eating. They're swimming around, they're frantic, they're eating, they're doing all the things, but they're not really eating.
So how do you treat gill flukes?
Well, gill flukes I'd use like General Cure. API's General Cure. It's great for gill flukes.
Just put it in the water column.
Yep. Treat the
right,
water column.
Exactly.
And,
yeah.
If it is an internal parasite, you want to get the medication inside, and I would either use a medicated food or I like levamisole personally.
Yeah. Now, are these the type of fluke that are visible?
Usually you'll see a little bit of redness or flaring in the gill, but not always, because they get in, because of the pressure it puts on the gill, it closes the throat. They can't swallow the food. So they look like they're eating. They're frantic. They're swimming around. They're doing all the things. But if you watch them, they take that food in, they swim around, and they spit it out. It can be really deceiving. So again, observe your fish. Make sure of what they're really doing.
Yep, absolutely.
And before you go throwing medications in, because you might be throwing in the wrong one.
Yeah, and if it's ick, you don't need medication. You just need temperature.
Yeah.
There are gill flukes that are visible. They're big.
Yes,
you can see it. You can remove them with a pair of tweezers.
Yep.
There are worms that will attach to the side of a fish. You can remove them. They're easily removed. If you have a worm that's hanging on the side of a fish, remove it And again, do a little tiny spot of something.
Mm-hmm.
This could be mercurochrome, could be anything, uh, to try to make sure that that injury is is somewhat medicated, so bacteria won't get in.
For a short period of time, yeah, you get something on it.
Yeah, then take one.
You've got a question about, from Daniel Gonzalez on how do you feed your garlic? How do you feed fish garlic? What do you do to feed them garlic?
I mash it up very fine and put very small amounts in such that they will eat it. I'm not trying to treat the water column with garlic. I'm trying to provide a food that will get in the gut and help cleanse the gut. It's also an item that works well with early onset bacteria. It's something you can do prophylactically. You can feed garlic once a week or once a month, sparingly, just in very tiny amounts that they will eat. You want to make sure it's eaten. Now, if it lays there uneaten, it is not going to foul the tank. It's a plant. Plant material does not foul tanks. What fouls tanks is fleshy material, if you will, dead fish, dead shrimp, other dead pieces or cut pieces of food laying on the bottom. That will foul the water. A dead plant will not foul the water. You can put a head of lettuce in your tank, and the tank will become cloudy. The cloud, however, is not the vegetation, it's paramecium eating it and multiplying on it. That can deplete the tank of oxygen and cause the fish to die. So I don't recommend dumping a head of lettuce in your tank. But a lettuce leaf is wonderful. Everybody picks at it. Snails love it. If you're overwhelmed with snails, it's a good way to get them out because they'll gang up on that lettuce leaf and you just take the leaf out and the snails come with it.
It's like a trap. It's a shrimp. It's
a trap. That's right. Yeah.
So, you have a question from, I think it's, sorry, I'm all over the place with the scrolling, but I think it was Mrs. Wise Rat?
Wise Rat, sure enough.
Yeah, and she wants to know how to control algae growth in the fish tank. I believe that was the question.
Yes, right. What's your main solution for persistent algae growth?
Yeah.
The main solution is to get the nutrients out of the water column because that's what's causing the algae growth. You have excess nutrients in the water column, probably because you have gravel in your tank, probably, or you have some kind of soil that's releasing nutrients into the water column. This is why we sand cap the substrate to prevent that from happening, to keep the nutrients down in the substrate and out of the water column. It does not do 100% of the job. It does maybe 90, 95%, such that if you then have tuber kinds of plants in there, such as anubias or java fern or duckweed or something growing on the top, savini, whatever, they will absorb nutrients out of the water column and will be able to reduce the effect of algae, the ability of algae to find adequate nutrition. Algae is a plant. It's a plant. It's living in your tank because there's plant food in your tank. Don't pour liquid fertilizer in your tank and expect to not get algae. You will get algae because you're putting excess nutrients in the water column. You want to keep those nutrients down in the substrate where the roots of the plants can get at them and out of the water column. Again, if there are certain plants you want to grow that take their nutrients from the water column, do this anyway. You do not need to put liquid fertilizer in for them. You're simply going to be creating an excess nutrient problem. Those plants are very effective at pulling nutrients out of the water. They're frankly better at it than algae. That's why they will survive first and the algae will not, because they do a better job. But you want to be able to get them to a level where they've got it down to not a whole lot left in there, enough that it's replenished by feeding the fish, by food waste, by urine, by those kinds of things, nitrifying bacteria, creating nitrates. Nitrates are a basic food source for plants in the water column. So try to be sensitive to that. If you've got gravel in your tank, put 2 inches of sand on top of it. That's going to solve the immediate problem. And if it's been set up for a long time, it will allow you to be able to grow rooted plants effectively. You don't need to clean it. You don't need to clean the the gravel before you put the sand in. Let it be dirty. Put the sand on top. It'll convert itself to anaerobics and it'll begin feeding the plants. It'll also begin breaking down waste that precipitates into the sand.
Absolutely. So, a couple things. I have a question from Papa Shrimp, but in a few minutes, can we pass out some wrenches? Can you get over?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
To pass out wrenches. Papa Shrimp, Father Fish. I have a pair of L471 dwarf snowball plecos coming my way. Have you had them before, and have you any thoughts on that species?
Dwarf snowballs.
Snowball, yeah, plecos.
No, I have not.
Be purchasing. Okay.
I've not had snowballs. I really don't know. A few basic things.
Right.
Generally, with plecos, you want a piece of driftwood in the tank. Not all plecos eat wood, but many do. I don't know if the snowball does or not. It's not going to hurt anything to have it in there. And if it needs that in its diet, it certainly is going to help. And they need a hiding place. If they're going to be able to spawn, they need some kind of a cave, typically. Try to maintain a stable, clean environment. Good luck with it. It'll be exciting if you can get these guys to spawn. It would be wonderful.
Email Father Fish some photos, right? That would be fun.
Right, exactly.
So yeah, if we can pass out some wrenches, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, Dream Weaver is saying alternative to Seachem Prime for dechlorinator at mini tanks looking for larger quantity similar product. I sell sodium thiosulfate crystals in a 2,000 gallon bag for $10. You'll be able to do 2,000 gallons. It's pretty cheap and extremely easy to use. Yeah, it's available on Get Gills if you want to go there and order it.
So, do you want to do the wrenches or do you want to do more questions?
Yeah, let's do that. Absolutely.
Right. Let's do the wrenches.
Daniel Gonzalez. Daniel's been around for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Daniel, I'm having trouble getting. Yeah, here we go. Okay, Daniel's up.
All right. And we need TJ's New Life needs a wrench. And
can you tell me where
928? I see a comment, and actually, that was the next question I was going to read. Was at 928 from TJ.
I'm going to set up an experimental tank with sand. Want to freeze cubes of dirt to avoid cloudy water. See if I can put them deep next to the plant. See what happens. Sounds good. If you want to go the extra mile, make the dirt cubes in tiny trays. And then put them in larger trays with very cold water so they don't thaw, and try to try to get the cube in a larger cube. So when you put it down in the water, it doesn't immediately melt before you can get it in the substrate. The other way to do it is to remove 2/3 of the water before you put the cube in, so it doesn't melt before you get it down in the substrate. But it'll work. Yeah, push it all the way to the bottom. Don't leave it just an inch or so in. Push it all the way down to the bottom. But that should work, and I'll be very excited and interested to see how you do with it.
So did you get for wrenches, Glenn Robinson and Daniel Gonzalez? And they're at
TJ, let me get
they're both
TJ.
at 927. They're both at 927. And now I'm scrolling.
Glenn Robinson, okay.
Yeah. And Daniel.
Glenn Robinson is blue.
All right. And you got TJ, right? TJ's
Daniel is blue. I've got TJ is blue.
Okay. And Joe Merchant? Can you get Joe Merchant?
Yeah, where is Joe?
929.
TJ, Joe Merchant, yeah.
And yes, do that, Joe. Keep a close eye on the fish. Make sure they're really
add
eating.
to their frozen food while it soaks. Keep a close eye. Good job. Yes, absolutely.
All right. And I think Master Black had a question at 921. That's what Lori says that we missed. I'll scroll back. You keep doing your wrenches and I'll scroll
I've got
back.
Mrs. Wise Rat. We just gave
Yep, new today, but that's great.
Yeah, that's good.
Had a good question about the algae.
Yes, go ahead.
No, she had a good question. I'm just
All
saying,
right.
She came
We
in with a
did
question,
can, right.
So I'm looking for Master Black. Okay, Father Fish, how long does it take for red tiger lotus to grow in a dirted tank? Also, is there any way to colonize blackworms in a community tank if it's full of plants? 2 questions.
Okay, the
Tiger lotus.
The tiger lotus is pretty easy. You want to get the bulb pretty much covered with sand. If it's live, it'll immediately sprout. They're like a potato, the bulb. They have essentially eyes that each one of them will grow an individual plant. You can have 3 or 4 plants growing on the same bulb at the same time. Once they get a good root system, they can be detached from the main plant and they'll continue to grow and will create new plants. Think of them as a potato. They grow just like potatoes, and the roots will grow new potatoes, new little bulbs that will grow in size. How long does it take? If they're sprouting, it'll start right away. If they're not sprouting, if they've been in the water for a week or 2 and nothing is happening, I would take them out and put them in a plastic bag, like a baggie, for a week or 2. Give them a chance to dry out and then put them back. Generally, they should sprout some leaves right away, within days. And you'll see a little green bud. If you see that, just make sure that it's down close to the surface, if not under the surface. I see them grow with the bulb. I lay the bulb on the surface and let them start, and then the roots will go down in there, and if they grow, and they'll grow quickly, and they'll grow big quickly. They can get very big. They are a lily. They can get as big as a lily and grow and have a beautiful lily flower that can come up in your tank. They're really quite a very, very nice plant to have in your tank. Blackworms. We're struggling with this now. I remember as a kid, I would feed blackworms when I had the blackworms do better in gravel than sand, curiously. I guess because they can get down in it.
Easier, yeah.
Yeah, you might do a tank with an inch of gravel and put the worms in that. and see if you can get a population going. We've got a population going in a tank now. It's a vat, actually, a 40 gallon tub with a little bit of water flow going through it. And it's so far doing all right. It ain't great, but it's all right. Um, they're a little tricky. I've tried to do them in quantity. I've not been able to figure out a way to do that effectively. They will live in your tank. They'll live in the tank pretty much indefinitely. So if you want to feed an excess amount, they'll go down into the subsoil. They will go into sand. They just have an easier time of it in gravel. If you want to put gravel at one little side, one little corner of the tank, that might get a population going as well. They're alive, so they're not gonna hurt the tank. And if they die off, unless you got an enormous amount of them in there, they're not gonna foul the tank.
Couple things. Did you give TJ's New Life a wrench?
I think I did. Yeah.
Okay, it's not showing up. Okay, Tisha would like to come up. Could you drop the link and could we take a little break and then bring her up after the break? Is that possible?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Okay. Wanted to look at this. Whoops.
So anyway, yeah, I thought you gave TJ one, but he just left it and it didn't show up. That's all.
They're not showing up right away. Not sure why.
Okay, because usually they do.
Wanted to look at Higher Learning 101 at 9:45.
Wait a minute. What are all these things coming through?
What?
Well, there's all kinds of Father Fish things coming through.
I think I had saved something and hit the wrong button.
Okay, I'm like, what is all this stuff? For a second, I thought we had a troll. I was like,
no,
what's going on?
I had saved something on another site and forgot I had done that, and I just I pasted and clicked before I realized.
Okay.
So you might find it interesting. That was inadvertent, I assure you.
Okay, I'm like,
some may find it of interest. Let me.
So you can drop that link for Tisha, then we'll get her when we come back from the break, and then
all right.
Then we'll see what happens after that, right?
Where was that 8:50, 9:45, 9:50 something? Where was it?
What? That your stuff started coming through?
No, the one I wanted to.
Oh, give a wrench to?
No, it was a comment I wanted to respond to. And I just mentioned, Higher Learning 101 at 9:45.
Okay.
Love your work, Father Fish. Have you yourself written a book before? No. If you've kept notes throughout the years or have a great memory, maybe you should write a book about your trials and tribulations.
We were just talking about that.
Of which there have been many.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break. Tisha's in the back room here.
Okay.
We're going to bring her up when we come back. Let's take a momentary break, and we will return. Let's see. I want to get to a tune here. Oh my.
And then I'm going to have you make sure, well, whatever, we'll check that. Bogey just wants to be up here, part of the show today.
Who does?
My dog.
Oh, the pup. Yeah.
Do you see him, Father Fish? He keeps showing
I
up.
do.
Like,
I do. Yes, I do. I
like,
do.
I
I do. All right.
Mary, try and sort this one out. Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that can be. Let's talk about fish. Fish. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish. Instrumental break. Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish. 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 Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish. Fish. I think that one will do. I'll play it back and I'll see what I think. I think it's probably the nuts. And that'll be the one. And you can play around with all of it and decide what you want to do in your production stream for Savannah Fish. Father Fish, Father Fish. The one place to go to if you have Nick, your fish may itch or even flash. So Father Fish is your one-stop cap. Cap it all with an inch of sand. Cap it all with an inch of sand. Raise the temperature with a helping hand. And add some garlic on top of that sand. The itch will go, your plants will grow, and all of your fish will have a happy home. Father Fish, so Father Fish, your one-stop wonder if you keep fish. Starring Sir Father Fish and all his followers on the Father Fish channel. Over to you, Sir Father Fish.
Well, here we are. We're back.
We're back.
So we got Tisha in the back room in the, what is it called? In the waiting room, I guess.
In the waiting room.
Yeah, let's
Backstage.
get her. Let's get backstage. Right.
Hi.
Now she's on stage. Hi, Tisha.
Hi,
How are you?
Tisha. How are you, my dear? Nice to see you.
I'm well.
So when do you move?
1 week from now.
1 week from now. Wow, that's
That's
pretty
exciting.
exciting.
Yes.
She has shown us her new home before it had furniture in it, and it looks really beautiful. So we're very excited for you. So what would you like to show us today, Tisha?
My apartment.
Your apartment?
Yes.
The one you're moving out? The one you're moving out of?
Yes.
All right.
It is our apartment and the hallway.
There's the front door.
Yes. And the extended hallway.
Let me
It's a little tour.
Yeah, there you go.
Is the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
It's
tiny little apartment. Tiny little bathroom.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's quite that's quite typical here.
Is that was that a washing machine in there?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's a washing machine in there.
Door open.
All crammed in there.
Oh my. Where's the throne?
The toilet is here. It's separated.
Oh wow.
Oh really? Oh, isn't that cool? Well, I like
Yes.
that. That's cool.
Yeah, I like that
That's
too.
interesting.
Can't see it. That's oh, there we go. Nice. Good idea.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
I haven't either. I like it.
Well, I've seen the halfback, but I've never seen them beside each other and separated. It's actually kind of a good idea.
Yeah, makes perfect sense to me. So your new home will not have that.
Yes, as well.
It does. Oh, really?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, all right. All right.
How
Radiators. Radiators.
It's common
how
here.
most of them are set up in your area, Tisha? Separate?
What do you?
Are you a dressmaker?
I'm planning to.
Oh, wonder. Wow.
I'm planning to become one someday.
Oh, nice.
How nice.
So this.
Is that your figure?
Yes, that's my dress form.
Lovely.
This is my sewing room.
Look at this. Look at this.
A collection of books, sewing books. This is a Barbie style
Sewing books.
dress for doll.
My grandmother.
I made someday.
Nice. My mother's
Tiny
mother.
wedding dresses.
Huh. So you're gonna make wedding dresses? Wow.
Yes.
My sister used to make wedding dresses. Lots of them.
Some
So Tisha,
some designs, yes.
it's exciting that you're moving into your new place, but wow, I don't envy all the packing you're gonna have to do. That's a lot of work. Hopefully
I know.
You have help.
Are those orders? Are those orders for something? What are those tickets?
Designs I made.
Oh, okay.
Designs I want to make someday.
Oh, they're designed. Oh, real nice.
Yes. I have some here as well.
Wow.
I want to make someday.
Wow.
In real life.
My sister made wedding gowns for years.
What are you saying, Joey? I missed twice.
That my sister used to have a store, and she used to sew wedding gowns. One of my sisters did that for years. Make handmade wedding gowns. Yep. Very nice, Tisha.
Yes. Yes. And now the bedroom.
Do you have help moving? Are you gonna have help?
Yes.
Good.
We have help, luckily.
Yes.
Just built-in closets here. And of course the bed.
What a tiny room.
Yes. That's right. It's a bit tight. It's not tiny, but it's not spacious either.
Right.
Oh, there's my sister that made the wedding gown. She's in the chat.
Ah, very good.
And the smallest room here. My boyfriend. Workstation. The fridge is here, the freezer. My cat has the chair. He has to share.
Yes, it does. And this is your boyfriend?
Yes.
What's his
workstation?
Name? At the workstation. Very good.
Yes. And this is the living room. It's cozy. And
cozy.
my things.
Look at that.
Thanks.
Oh, there's your tank. Very nice. Oh, and I like that. Your bowl's looking great. Well, they both look great.
They both do, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Guppies in there.
Pretty guppies.
Yes. Some mama guppies in here. That one.
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
The female.
Are they Ember Tetras?
Yes, the orange one are amber tetras. There's some female guppies as well and some babies in there. And this is the rest of the room. Yeah, all the boxes. And the kitchen.
My. How long have you been in this apartment, Tisha?
Yeah, 9 years.
9 years. Wow.
Yes. Quite a long time.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
that is a long time.
So,
Well, this is wonderful.
yes.
Well, it's exciting, you know, about your new place.
Yes.
Yeah, we're very excited to see your new home.
It's a lot bigger.
A lot bigger.
Yes.
Right. That'll make a world of difference, won't it?
Yes. Neat.
Well,
My
we're
problem is
excited for
how
you.
big it is. I
The
fill it.
balcony. I forgot to show the balcony.
Oh, you have a
This
balcony.
is
Oh,
the balcony.
oh, nice. Very nice. Lovely. Well, you're going to be a happy girl.
Yes,
Yes.
I am. Just a week, and then it's
One
ours.
more week. One more week, right? Well, thank you, Tisha, for the
welcome.
grand tour of your soon to be late great
Well, I was
old
gonna say the
apartment.
last tour.
The last tour, right?
The last
Right,
tour. But then you'll have the new place, so that'll be awesome.
right. Well, good luck to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Happy to see you. See you again when you're in your new place.
Yes.
Yes.
Bye for now,
You'll
Tisha.
give us the
Bye.
update.
Bye.
Tisha. Oh, no, we don't need me full screen.
There we go.
All right. Oh, I do not. I mean, she's got a lot of work to do. Whew.
You bet. Which works better, that way or this way? This
I
way.
don't know. When you stop, I'll adjust it. I think I'm good there. Okay.
Ah. All right. So what do we got? What do we got here?
All right. Truthfully, I was watching Tisha, so I wasn't looking at questions.
Guppy grass. I'm
Guppy-
sorry.
I know.
Guppy grass galore god. Was a studio apartment that was only 400 square feet. What had one main room, a closet, and a kitchen. The other closet was converted into a super tiny bathroom. Also, I'm 6'3", so that must have been a challenge.
Yeah. Andrew just wanted to verify. He said he asked the other day, but had to sign off before anyone answered. What's the minimum depth of soil and sand? And then he says 1 inch of soil and 2 inches of sand. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Yes, that's
That's
correct.
exactly right.
Yeah. That is it. That's the right answer. The correct answer. And then I think you should explain a little bit. We have new people in here, and somebody asked who the jester was singing and dancing, and I said, well, that's Lee Wilcox. But
Oh my!
new people, you have people that have recorded songs for you and done videos, and you
Right.
play them.
Yeah, we need to get Lee up here now. All right, let me do this tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday. We're going to be on at 6 o'clock in the evening,
Yes.
my time, and it will be open forum. We're not going to be answering questions so much as we're going to be bringing people up and talking and chatting and having fun. It'll be more a family kind of environment. You'll have a chance to meet Mary there. I'm hoping Lee will be able to come up. You'll be able to meet him and so many of our friends who have kind of been with us from the beginning and are still hanging in there tough. And we
just to visit or show their tanks or whatever. Just
if you want to go up and show up your tanks, it'll be a chance to do that. We'll be on for an hour or better. If it runs over, it runs over. But that'll be Saturday and Sunday. Same deal both times. It's a chance for you to show off what you're doing, get to become a little more personally involved with some folks. Now, while we're on the subject, we do have a Discord channel. It's called Father Fish. You can have access to that channel as a supporter of Father Fish, either by joining YouTube as a member, by joining Patreon, or by simply making a monthly donation through PayPal to the Father Fish channel or to Father Fish directly. That'll get you on Discord. We're going to be doing more and more on Discord. It's becoming a much bigger, more extensive site that's going to allow us to do a wider kind of stream than we're doing now. It'll make it possible for many people to be able to get up and online. It may be a little chaotic, but it'll be a lot of fun. You can post pictures to it. You can do that now, and there are always people up there. I'm trying to organize my schedule so I can be there on a regular, daily basis to be able to respond to members, people who are supporting our work here.
So, but just explaining the music a little more. People who love Father Fish have recorded songs for him, and he plays music before, during, and after, and he also sings live for us sometimes.
Once in a while.
And so there's music involved in the shows, as well as all the fish talk and questions and visiting and sharing. So that's why we say it's never the same every day. Different show every day.
Right. Willie Beck.
Yes.
Willie Beck is a new member. Willie Beck. Welcome, Willie Beck. Nice to have you. Nice to have you on board.
Yes.
Delighted.
You have a question at 10:06 from Rabbit Hamster.
I have fast-moving fish. I had some plants, but they didn't have room to swim and looked stressed. I have gravel and large rocks and a 125, not a deep substrate. What would you recommend in this case? Well, frankly, what I would recommend is you put a couple of inches of sand in on top of those rocks and gravel and put your plants back in. You cannot have too many plants for the fish. They will not bump into them. They will navigate around them, and they will also find them a source of not only hiding but also food. There are a lot of things that grow and live on plants that are natural food for fish. Generally speaking, the places in open water, in bodies of water that have the most fish, also have the most plants. Where there are heavy grow out areas loaded with plants, they are always also loaded with fish and invertebrates. So don't be concerned about having too many plants for the fish. They prefer it that way. It gives them a chance to kind of separate themselves from each other a little bit. If you like, you can keep an open area in the front, although I find it's not necessary to do that. Fish tend to prefer the cover and security that plants provide. In addition, they find that it helps them spawn. It provides food and nutrition, provides cover and safety. Just so many things happen for fish in a heavily planted environment that fish won't. If they have a choice between the two, they'll always be in the plants and not in open water.
Father Fish.
Yes.
Michael Long has. He's trying to get into Discord, but he's in the waiting room. I believe you have to approve it. Is that correct?
Yes. If you once you're in the waiting room, You have to wait there until
Well,
you're approved.
he's in the waiting room, so I don't know how long
Or,
he's been in
well,
the
I'm
waiting
going
room.
to go look right now.
Okay.
Waiting room. There's Daniel Gonzalez.
You might have a few people in the waiting room.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to remind you to check that.
Let's turn things down working right again. I got to get Thomas to check this out. I don't know what's happening.
All right.
Here,
So Bo's barrels.
I got it. I got it. I got it. Great.
Good.
We're good.
We'll try to keep him
Okay.
straight.
We got Daniel and Zelfernide.
Okay.
Okay.
Bows and barrels, yes, you can. You can
We
add
got
sand on top of gravel. Absolutely.
Okay, Daniel and Zelfernide, you're both in.
Don't disturb your gravel or clean it. Just add your sand over the
Yeah,
gravel.
exactly
Bows and
right.
barrels wants to know. Yeah.
Exactly right. Yep.
You can still,
Well,
plant plants in there, whatever you need to do. Just don't gravel that. Just leave it. Add your sand.
Willie Beck, are you Zelfernide?
Are they what?
Did he try to get into Discord? Is that
I
who
don't know
it
if
was?
Willie Beck did. He just joined your membership. Willie Beck did.
Who was
I don't know if
who was trying to get in?
into Discord. It was Michael Long that was trying to get in to Discord. He was in the waiting room. So if you
Okay,
approved
well, if
him,
he's there, okay, so he's in then.
yeah, if you approved him, Michael, let us know if you can get
If
in.
I approve, yeah.
I'll
Somebody
keep after him. I'll just become a nag.
Somebody calling from Michigan.
I'll just be your number one nag.
Father Fish. Yes. You bet. Alrighty. Somebody just want to know if we're open right now. Huh. Okay. I don't know. I've got.
Father Fish,
Yes.
would you like to pass out another wrench?
You betcha.
You
Hold on.
have a very nice comment at 1011 from Ha What?
Glassbox Fox just came in.
Oh, they've been in.
Well, she now has a wrench.
Discord. Okay.
Yeah, Discord did have a wrench.
At 1011. Could you give them a wrench? And they just said, Father Fish and Company, I'm impressed how involved and dedicated you all are and nice. Thank you.
Well, thank you. 10.
We all try.
Who is this?
It's Hawa at 1011. If you could give them a wrench. That's a very nice compliment. I'll keep at him. Give him a wrench. That's what I'm here for. I'm just here to be an egg.
Oh, what?
Did you do it?
I did it.
Okay. Thank you. TJ's New Life does not have a wrench. Can you try that again at 1013? TJ's New Life.
Yeah.
Okay. Whew. All right.
Got it.
Good morning, John McKenzie. Don Larson. Good morning, New England. And I'm just saying hello. It's Cracker. Kenny from Diagnosing Aquatics just came in. Hi, Kenny.
Hey, Kenny. Nice to see you.
Kenny E. From
Kenny E, right.
Kenny E. Oh, Geek Boy's here. Andrew Todd.
Who?
Oh, I'm just saying hi to Andrew Todd and Geek Boy and just saying hi.
Oh, all right.
Just saying hi. Just trying to be perlite and say howdy do.
New England enter. Could a blue Galaris killifish be kept with tiger barbs? A blue Galaris killie can be kept with barbs. I think so. I would not do it personally. I think too much of the blue Galaris, frankly, to take the risk.
Yeah, they're kind of hard to come by, aren't they, the blue Galaris?
Well, they're not uncommon, but they're a little more expensive, and I found them a little more delicate. They're also a fish that doesn't dart around a lot the way barbs do. Barbs are on the move. The killifish are not like that. They're more stationary. They may move around, but they're not darting the way barbs do.
I know. I agree. I just don't see them for sale anywhere. So certainly, if I could get them, I'd want to keep them special.
Yeah, the killies are rarely found in shops.
Ooh. Oscar C has a question at 10:15. Any experience dealing with Camellarus worms?
Camelanus, Camelaris.
I know. I was like, I know how to say it, but you think I can? No. Do you have any experience with that?
Yeah, hold on a second. I'm going to get where I need to go here. Whoops.
When we pass out the wrenches, you guys don't have to do anything if you don't want to. It's just being part of the club. You are welcome to drop your link if you would like to.
Well, the Camellarius worm it's an internal parasite. You find them with goldfish, mollies, angels, guppies, and so forth. It's hard to even determine that you have them until they get to the point where they become horribly disruptive. They're actually the most commonly encountered internal parasite, and they can infect a wide range of fish. Let's see, pure goldfish has a channel on them in which they talk about 3 techniques for getting rid of them. They usually will show up in an emaciated fish when they become mature by coming out of the anus. So you'll see a worm hanging from the fish's butt. Not nice at all.
No.
Fenbendazole is the one I prefer. Fenbendazole.
Don't you have to be careful with that medication though, with your
you
snails
do.
and your invertebrates?
Yeah, generally speaking, the best way to treat these is to get. You kind of have to treat the whole tank because the larvae will be in the bottom. So you really have to medicate the tank to get rid of them, and then you want some of that medication in food so that they will eat it. They need to take it down. So you want to make a medicated food. And then you need to do regular water changes, at least siphon the bottom to make sure you're getting the worms out that are coming out of the fish. So it's a bit of an ordeal dealing with it. And the best way, frankly, is to do it in a bare bottom hospital tank. Move the sick fish in. If you don't know if they're sick or not, put them all in. Feed them the medicated food, and then keep the bottom siphoned up. Keep the detritus off the bottom. And do that daily.
Master Black, Father Fish, do you think platies and swordtails can change their gender. When I was 12 years old, my half swordtail, half plating gave birth to 50 fries, later became a male. Interesting.
I've had farmers tell me that swords change sex. That a big female will become a male, or that a little male will become a female. The only fish I know of with absolute certainty that change sex are the clown gobies, the saltwater clown gobies. I know, in fact, that that the dominant male will become a female in a pair after they pair bond. Beyond that, I have never seen proof of it. I've heard stories about it. I don't know that I have ever had it happen in a tank. Um, I think it's an urban myth, an aquatic myth, if you will. I'm not one to say it will not or cannot happen. I've never seen it.
You've never seen it. Well, they're saying that they saw it as a child.
Could be.
I certainly
it could be you saw something else. It's hard to say. Children have funny memories sometimes, or we have funny memories of our childhood sometimes. And adults tend to want to trick us when we're kids too. So you got to consider that possibility as well.
I just go with the grass was greener when I was a kid, right?
Really?
So Rabid Hamster is just asking what kind of sand you use. Would you like to just mention?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Any sand at all. I use pool filter sand. It's I like the texture. I like the color. It's easy. It's clean. It's pretty simple to use, and it's relatively inexpensive. Loans 294 says, "What's the best ick med for clown loaches?" We use Cordon Ick Attack at full dose, double dose once or twice since Friday. So severe, we lost 3 out of 4. Rest of the fish, no ick. Yeah, loaches, clown loaches are uniquely susceptible to ick. The cure for ick is extremely simple and does not involve any medication at all. It's simply a matter of raising the temperature to 86 degrees and leaving it there for 2 days. The ick will disappear. It'll be gone in 2, maybe 3 days, typically 2 days. All you have to do is raise the temperature. If you're not sure it's 86, raise it to 87. It needs to be above 85. It could be 90. It's not going to hurt the fish, not going to hurt the plants, but it will get rid of the ick.
So, Brianne at 10:20, she says, "I am quarantining my female betta, and there is no sign of disease. I was told to treat anyways. How many days should I use ick X, 3 or 5?"
10:20.
Yeah, 10:20. Brianne Farrell. Basically, she was told to quarantine her betta and treat it for ick.
You should not use it at all.
Right. Did you see?
Do not use it at all. You don't need any medication at all. Quarantining my female betta, and there's no sign of disease. Was told to treat anyway. Do not treat. Whoever told you that, you need not to take their advice anymore about anything, because they're risking the life of your fish. You do not treat fish with medication unless there is an extreme reason for doing so. And the reason is it kills far more than it kills, which can include the fish. Any ick medication is frankly a ripoff. Let me say that again. Ick medication is a ripoff. It is an expenditure of money for no justified reason. Raise the temperature to 86 degrees, the ick will go away. It's really that simple. Your fish is not showing any signs of stress. Right. There is absolutely no reason to isolate it. Why would you do that? Why in the world would you do that? I do not personally believe in quarantining fish that have come through the distribution system, unless you're getting them from a source that you do not trust or do not know about, or if they are wild caught fish. If they're wild caught fish, there's every good reason to quarantine. If you're getting fish from your neighbor or from your local fish store, and those tanks are healthy and those fish are healthy, there is no reason at all to quarantine. You can do it if you like. It's up to you. But while you're at it, do not be medicating everything. Medication is toxin. It is toxic. It is poisonous. All medication is poison, dosed in tiny doses, theoretically insufficient to harm the fish, but strong enough to harm what's attacking the fish. That's a pretty delicate balance, and one that is frankly not easy to achieve. Don't willy-nilly throw medications into a fish tank. You're not going to be helping anything.
So, you have a couple of nice comments at 10:20. One from Higher Learning and one from Dr. Rishi. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I'm sorry. But two nice comments.
Blew my mind seeing your setups. I kept plants in 3-inch gravel and changed water every 2 months or so, was told. That was insane. By the people who had never done what you've done successfully. It's interesting to me that people will render extreme opinions about things of which they have no knowledge whatsoever. Only bad information. They have bad information that they heard somewhere and they're repeating it as though somehow it is gospel. Only the gospel is gospel. The rest of it is not. Hold on a second. I need to pay my window washer. Be right back.
Okay. All right. Oh my goodness. My dogs are crazy right now. They're trying to get up here and like trying to keep them down. It's like, you have to stay down, guys. Whew.
Yeah, righty. Thank you, sir. I will appreciate it.
That's the hard, I'm just going to say it's the hard part with advice, Brienne, is everybody's trying to help and you're going to get so much of it. You have to work your way through some of those things. And everybody does something a different way.
You know, having an opinion about something of which you have no knowledge is foolishness. It's just foolishness. And you should not make yourself look foolish by expressing an opinion on something about which you have no knowledge, that you somehow read somewhere or somebody else said. Find out for yourself. Do personal experience. Do trial and error. Find out whether it's true. By doing it yourself, then you'll know the truth. Exactly. At least you'll know to the extent that you've been able, you know, based on your experience and what you've done. Then you're speaking out of personal experience and not being a gossip. Don't be a gossip.
And I was just saying to Brianne, I said, you're going to get so much advice. You have to work your way through some of it.
Well, it's exactly right. I mean, that's really what the hobby is all about. Nobody has all the answers. Lord knows I don't.
Right.
I have, I've already said a half a dozen times here today, I don't know, because I don't know. There are a lot of things I've never done, never encountered. But I'm not going to render opinions on them.
Right. But if she wanted to be on the safe side, she could keep her female separate. She doesn't have to medicate. She could just keep it separate for a week and then move into her breeding project from there.
Doesn't hurt anything to do that. Right. True enough.
If everything is looking good, then
I have found with fish I get through the industry that I do not acclimate and I do not quarantine. I do not do either with items I get either from other hobbyists or items that I get through the industry.
Jump up for 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay.
I have never once had a problem that I'm aware of. I have had problems with fish. Typically, the problem is either some kind of fungus that'll appear on a given fish, which I'm able to treat, or ick, which is the most common problem of all, which I treat. I've had parasites very uncommonly. I've been able to treat them pretty easily. And usually I don't notice it until, they're either obviously starving or I see parasites, coming out of them, in which case I treat them. I treat with medicated food. Don't do anything because somebody tells you to do it, even me. Don't do it because I tell you to do it. Do it because you know it to be the right thing to do. And if you've got a couple of sick fish and you want to do some trial and error, put one of them in a tank and treat that one and see what happens. Sure. If it gets well, you can do the others. If it dies, you know not to do that again. Just it's not working.
You know what I would say to you, Brianne? And I understand that you're excited. We all get excited about breeding projects. Take your time. Don't be in a rush. Like that, make sure your fish are healthy, start your process, and just let it take, let nature take its course. It will happen, but don't be in a hurry. And that's hard. I get it. Yeah. I get that.
Dr. Rishi Prasad.
Yes.
I'm inspired by your water change system, planning on running a similar one with the 15 tanks I have, with a flow-through system linked to aquaponic pipes that are growing salad mix. Sounds delightful. And somehow I thought you already have a wrench. It's just not showing up. Good. Okay. Well, thank you. Oscar C. I've given a bunch of people wrenches here, and they're not showing up yet. It may
that's
take.
What you keep saying to me, because I'm like, did you give them a wrench? And you said you
right.
did.
Now, let me explain about wrenches. Up to this point, we're giving wrenches to everybody who is a faithful member. To be a faithful member, you have to come back at least once beyond their first visit, or show an extraordinary level of interest, sophistication, or commitment to the channel. In which case, we welcome you into the chat as a moderator. That allows you to post links. It does not allow you to ban anybody unless they do not have a wrench. So it has limited use in that effect. Yeah. But I dare say, if anyone came on here first time and started blasting us with vulgarity or pornography or whatever, there would be 50 or so wrenches going after them in an instant, and they would be gone.
Absolutely. But Father Fish has the ultimate power. He's the one that can ban you forever.
Yeah, exactly.
So we all behave. Everybody behaves.
Yeah, I have done that a few times. There are a few
Well,
people
you have
I have banned from the channel because they were mostly because they were vulgar, and I don't tolerate vulgarity. We have children on board here that are with us every single day. I'm not going to tolerate that kind of behavior with children involved. If I were doing a late night stream, it'd be a completely different matter. But for these morning streams, it ain't going to be allowed.
This is a family channel, family oriented.
Right. Yeah.
So Eric LaBelle has a nice compliment for you, Father Fish. He says, loving the casual feel of this stream. Keep it up.
Thank you so much. All right, we're down to it, I think.
I think so. We're at 10:35.
We have a
lot of
Russian.
Questions today.
Fedoslav Zakuv, tell us about the change of water in the aquarium. Svetoslav, I change water when the water needs to be changed. when there's a good reason to do it. If I'm noticing a problem, I will I'll do a water change. The video that's out today has virtually 100% water change, and you'll see why we did it. There has to be a good reason for me to be willing to do that. I've balanced tanks that are healthy tanks. So unless something goes wrong, something goes haywire, something develops that I don't like too low a pH or too high nitrates, then I'll do a water change. But I do not do regular routine water changes. Now, having said that, let me also say I have 3 sets of tanks that are on sumps, which means that the size of that water volume is substantially more than each individual tank. It's all of the tanks plus the water in the sump all combined. Those systems are on an autofill. So as I take water out or water evaporates, it automatically is refilled. We occasionally have minor floods. Something will overflow. When it does, that water is automatically replaced. If I notice there's a problem in a system, I may well do a water change by draining the sump and replacing the water in the sump. So there are more or less routine water changes occurring on a more or less routine basis. Because of the top-off system and the evaporation issue, I do water changes every 3 to 6 months in order to prevent the hardness in the water from dramatically increasing, because that will happen when you're topping off hard alkaline water with hard alkaline water. You'll get more hard alkaline and less water. So in those systems, I do water changes. I just don't do them frequently. I do them relatively infrequently, perhaps every 3 to 6 months. Okay, so
Fish, could we do one more quick question? Well,
you bet.
You make it quick.
Yep.
It's from Nicole Rowe. She says, Father Fish, I have a fishless 2-gallon tank now. I bought a fish, it was sick, and the sickness spread to the second fish. They are both dead. They both died very fast. What should I do with this tank? Restart? ?
No, just leave it. It's probably okay. Let it sit for a week or two and then try a new fish in it, or maybe 2 new fish and see how it does. Try guppies, something simple. Mollies maybe. Maybe some little tetras or something. Something you feel confident with. And try not to bring sick fish in it. That can be difficult sometimes, but if you're buying from a big box store, I recommend you not get fish from them. Find another source. Those fish are nearly always going to be sick. Don't trust it. And don't trust the big box stores unless you're willing. This is a major exception. Unless you're willing to isolate and quarantine those fish for at least 2 weeks. Don't take the risk. Okay, so, where are we?
Yeah.
Thank you, Tony P. Talking about the video just came out today. Yes, Joey.
Oh, nothing. I was just going to say, where it is a small tank and you're probably only going to have a few fish in there, maybe just buy them all at once and you might be more successful than to try to keep adding.
Yeah, true enough. Yeah, 2 or 3 fish. Yeah.
Right.
Get them reputably if you can. Yeah, that's real important. Okie dokie.
Well, the questions will never end, so I think you need to stop for today. And we do love the questions. Don't get us wrong, but
you betcha.
An end point.
All right, boys and girls. Happy to be with you today. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a lovely day. See you tomorrow at 6 in the evening. Bye for now.
Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish.